Today we are going to make a tic tac toe game using the Java language. So in the JSE package we are creating a source package as JSE, and in the JSE sub package we are using ttt.java for tic tac toe game. We are using the swing technology of Java and AWT technology of Java. In the JSE package, here's the package name, and import the Java x.swing framework and Java AWT, all the classes of AWT framework and swing framework we are importing here. And after that we are importing the action events and action listeners for the frame. We are using here TTT as a class name, which extends the JFrame superclass, and using a final data type, static and final data type variable, which the data type is integer. Board size, here the board size is 3, and private J button, which is a private access modifier, and using variable for the button is buttons, and character data type variable is current player. We are declaring all the variables here, and after that we are creating a constructor as the same name of the class name TTT, and providing initializing the current player's values for as a x, and initializing the button as using new operator j button, and providing a two-dimensional array for the game board size for row and column as well as, and using here we are declaring initialize GUI method. We are using here the GUI technology, and in the initialize GUI method, which is a private access modifier and is a data void return type. Here we are setting the title as tic tac toe, and the frame size is 300 and 300, and horizontal and vertical, and the set default close operation for the closing operation on the JFrame, which is set on as a dot using dot operator, exit on close. And after that we are setting the layout of the frame using the new grid layout, which is a board size for the row and column, as well as we are passing two parameters in the grid layout. Here we can use multiple layouts like grid, integer data type row, integer data type columns are row, column, and horizontal gap and vertical gap as well as, but we are using here the second one. And now now we are using here a inner for loop and outer for loop. Inner for loop for the row columns, and outer for loop for the rows. Here we are setting the row value, I variable is 0. Here we are initializing a variable integer data type variable I as 0, and providing a condition is whenever the board size is less than the value of I, and after that incremented plus by +1. And after that, when the outer loop will be executed one time, the whole inner loop executed, and after that the outer loop will be incremented by 1, and then same process will going as on. And we are using the simply button sizes in the frame is J button, and which is symbolized by minus. Here we are providing the indexes for the I and j. um, I so the rows are row and row index, and j shows the columns index, and which will whole shows the minus sign here. And using the set font method, using Arial font, we are using here multiple fonts like italic, Arial, mm, multiple fonts. And here the name of the font, and font dot plain is the type, and 60 is the size of button. And you after that we are using set focus painted. Here we are providing false because we not using the paint method here, but you can also provide the true value in the set focus painted method. And after that, we are using an action listener in the button. Whenever the button is clicked, the action event is happened and listened by the action listener using the add action listener method. And initializing on the button click listener, here we are using the two action listeners. Add action listener in the button click listener. Whenever the button is clicked, an action event is happened, and which is listened by the action listener. I and j index, here we are passing the two parameters and adding add methods. Using all these methods you added on the button, as well as I and j index of the array. And now we are using another class is button click listener class, which is a private access mode, which has private access modifier, and which is implements the action listener on the button. And using two private variables which has integer data type row and column here. And using a method button click listener, a public method, and passing two parameters, integer row and column in the button click listener method. And using this keyword for the reference of these two variables, this dot row initializes by the row, and this dot column initializes by the column, and override it. Here we are using the method override for using the override method. We are using action performed method of the action listen event package of the JFrame, and of the AWT technology. And here we are using action performed method, which has a return type of void, and as a public access modifier, and which has an object as e, and an action event class. Here we are passing action event in that, and as a e as a object of that class. And setting the conditions: if buttons row and column dot get any text dot equals to minus, whenever they click on the minus button shows the zero, shows minus. Here we are setting as a text here the value of current player, which is a string type value, providing here the value uh, getting any text. So after that we are setting the value of the current player, and button is enabled as false. Okay, here we are setting button enabled as false. uh, and if using the another condition here for the passing the check wins method in the condition, if conditional statement, if check wins method is using the option pane, j option pane. Here we are using j option pane in that. So so for the message showing, so we are providing here the null value for this any message. and player plus current player plus plus is using for the concatenation of the strings, and reset after that board. Else if is board is full method is passing in the if else if block, and whenever the if condition is wrong, so else if condition will be executed. If the J option paint show message dialog, so we are passing here the null are the game is tie value. Two parameters we are passing in the methods, and after that reset board method is called, and else current player's value will be current player is equals to x if the condition for the array 0 or x, and after that we using a boolean type value method. Here we are providing the conditions for the check means method, and using two loops and setting the index of the rows and columns, and get text as character 0 or x. Here 0 we are providing here the indexes for the setting the text messages for the events, and return type is providing true, and the check diagonals check rows and columns here, and this conditions for the index conditions for the check diagonals same here, and after that providing the check row columns for the character values till 3 c1 c2 c3, and providing c1 if c1 is not equals to minus or c1 equals to c2 equals to, here providing the conditions for the game win. And after that we are using is board full method here with the description of that method using inner and outer loop of I and j variable, using index dot get text method dot equals to minus, so return the false value, and after that return true, and provide for this description for this reset board method current player's value equals to x, and the inner and outer loop for the reset board method set text is minus, and set enabled is passed in the method is true. And here the main method of our the program is public static void main string arguments for the entry point of the execution, and swing utilities using the swing utilities dot invoke later after that in the minus symbol, till then minus symbol, and here we are using our constructor here ttt dot initializing a object is game using new ttt math class, and game dot set visible equals to true, and close the value here all the methods here, and after that we are we are going to run the program. So our jframe is will be created, and we are setting here the value as x, another value is 0, here the another value, here the another value, here the another value, next, next. So the x is set the value, so player x is win, okay, or we are setting is x 0 x 0 x 0, the player o is wins, okay, and for the tie x x x 0 x 0 x 0, and here the player o is wins because here x is not making the any value, so here the o on the diagonal the o player will is win. So this the type, this is our tic tac toe game. Thank you.